April's air stirs in willow leaves. A butterfly floats and balances. This haiku is brought to you by Basho. Welcome to another episode of Thought Process.
Hey everyone.
How you guys doing? It's Wednesday, May 20th. It's been 5.5 months of this damn pandemic. We're still trying to, uh, keep doing what we're doing. Greg and I are still doing this. Um, and today, I want to talk a little bit about how life is more like a marathon, and how we should perceive it that way. And some of the important lessons I've learned so far as I've been preparing for an actual marathon later in June. Um, First of all, how's it going, Greg? How you doing today?
Doing well. A little tired. Stayed up too late. Woke up to my alarm, but not too bad.
Yeah, yeah. I've been. Luckily, I've been once my dog wants to get up and go to the bathroom. I just stay
Hmm.
up. Like now, it's easier for me to just stay up. Um,
Yeah.
yeah. So it's been easier for me, even though sometimes you stay up late, like you just said. Um,
Yeah.
Dude, I sometimes I want to just go back to bed, but I try my hardest just to stay up. That whether it's 5, 6, 7 in the morning. Yeah. Anyway, what's new with you?
Only thing new is got a bought a boat. Not like a not anything super impressive. Just like an inflatable boat that can go out on the water. And took out the kids the other day and we rode down and we discovered that there's a brewery like 30 minutes from where we are. So if we get like a little motor, we could just boat down to the brewery on a Friday night and hang out and boat back. Be
Yeah.
pretty cool. But no, I just been doing like research on like water sports in general. It's been pretty interesting because it'd be cool to dive in the harbor and see what you can find at the bottom.
Like snorkel.
Find some treasure. Yeah.
Isn't there like some very popular people doing like swamp diving?
There's people on YouTube. I watch them often enough. They go to all kinds of different places. They'll go to just regular bridges, or like they'll even get phone calls from like the police, and they'll be like, "Hey, someone went to this part of the river, and we suspect that they threw a knife or a gun or something in the water." And they go in and they search and they find it, and uh, sometimes they go to like water parks and they go to the bottom of the pools and they get out like all the phones and stuff. It's
No
pretty
way.
interesting. Yeah.
Damn. That's cool. Yeah, you never know what you can find, right? Something
Yep.
I've been wanting to buy has been a metal detector. I want to just
Yeah.
go down to once the beach opens, I'd
Hmm.
I would want to just go and do it as part of my cardio.
Yeah, that's what I looked at. It was really interesting. I was talking to someone who's done it, and they said that when they go out there and they metal detect,
Mm-hmm.
it's not that they're out there just like trying to find something randomly. They're out there in a strategic way for to get uh either the current day's lost items, so like you would go at nighttime um to do it, because people will drop things. If they have dropped them and it stayed there for too long, it'd probably just get washed out. So like you're not just randomly finding some treasure that washed in. I always thought that like the ocean just turns around the water so much that like things kept coming in and washing in. But it's all of them just trying to find people's lost items essentially
Yeah.
from that day. It's
Oh
very
yeah.
interesting.
Yeah. The perfect day would be like 4th of July at night, or
Yeah.
5th of July in the like dawn.
Yeah,
You
I
know.
guess I guess they don't find as much as you think they find, like the people at the beach. that do the metal detecting on the
Mm-hmm.
land.
But it's yeah, it's I think it's just fun. Like you
Yeah.
go with the hopes that you're gonna find something. If you do, you struck gold. But if you didn't, then I think just to even get out there and focusing on one thing, which is
Yeah.
what you're listening on. Um, yeah, man. Are you still preparing for the marathon? Are you still in?
I'm still in. I haven't been preparing that well though.
No.
No.
Yesterday I went to Peters Canyon,
Okay.
which is a local park here in Orange County. Um, it's basically about 6 miles,
Mhm.
across.
Yeah.
And yeah, yesterday I went with my family. I took the dog, and yeah, first I stuck around with the family, around with the nephews and my brother-in-law and whatever. And yeah, after that very steep hill
Uh-huh.
that we used to struggle getting up on,
Yeah.
getting up to. Um, yeah, that one. I mean, once we got up there, I saw that these guys were taking a little longer than usual. So I just left them, dude.
But
I just took the dog and we ran. I ran as much as I could. I would take little breaks here and there, but yeah, I did. I was able to do 6.4 miles while I was out
that's
there,
good.
and and then I was able to push through the uphills, which was interesting for me because it just goes to show you that the little exercise I've been doing has actually been working. And
Yeah.
most importantly, I think I found my pace, which is
Okay.
something people don't really consider
Yeah.
unless you're an expert runner, you're in track or whatever. They teach you how to find your pace. Yeah, but initially I was just thinking, oh, I have the will to do this marathon in June. I'm just gonna. I don't care if I don't prepare. I'm still gonna go out there, and it's good to have that type of mentality. But I would have hated myself that day and the next few days. So
Yeah.
why not prepare for it? Even if I do minimum 5 miles every day or every other day, I think that's still it's gonna be a lot of help.
Yeah. It's very interesting with Peters Canyon there. It's something you should try is uh is run it the two different ways you can go. So like I don't know which way you started from, but sometimes I'll run the lower part
Mm-hmm.
and then I'll go up to the big hill
Mm-hmm.
and I'll do the hills. And then sometimes I'll go the other way where I go up the hill right away and at the end I take the lower part.
Yeah, that's what I
Which
did. We parked in the not at the lower part of the park. We parked at the upper side, so where the
not
it's
where
a
the
new
school
parking
is.
area, and you do if you know how Peters Canyon is a rectangle.
Yeah. You
Um,
parked where the parking pass is, right?
yeah, and then
Yeah.
we took the first two um uphills, and then you go down, and then you do the big uphill, and then you do the hills, and then I went all around to the other side, and then I came back up on
Yeah.
the
It's
lower
so
part.
interesting if you run it the two different ways to see how different it actually is. Like you see that big hill, like if you start with the big hill,
Mm-hmm.
it's actually easier to run the whole thing. It's so crazy.
Yeah.
Like running the two different ways, even though it doesn't change the distance or how you're running the same hills. It changes the difficulty of it.
Yeah, no, yeah, definitely, man. Yeah. But it was surprising that I was able to push through all the hills, and I felt good, man. And then going downhill, and then on the lower part where it's a little bit more flat, it's a
Uh-huh.
slight incline. Yeah, I was
Yeah.
able to find my pace, you know. So that's good. So now I just have to practice that every time I go out. And today's cardio is going to be more of a rowing thing, right? Do you guys? How do you guys move the boat? Or are you?
I
First
mean,
of all, are we still going today or no?
yeah, I can
Okay.
still go. Yeah, this so far right now we only have the row. We're looking into getting the motor. Um, but yeah, you just row it. You can either constantly row it or just like push it along and just hang out. Uh, but we're gonna be using the new boat we got today. So we have two,
What
and
does it look like?
it just like imagine, um, like in one of those military movies when they jump into like they like parachute down into some like thick forest and it's like a blow up boat with an engine on the back.
Hmm.
So just like that.
Oh, okay. Do you
It's
guys
called
just
an
do the
excursion.
canals, or do you guys go to open water?
So far we just did the canal because we haven't had it very long, so
Okay.
we don't really know. I mean, when we get the motor, maybe we'll go out into the water, but we haven't done any fishing or anything on it, so it's just
Cool.
been there for fun.
Cool. That's
But
exciting, man. I
yeah,
can't wait.
you can. There's a lot of different places like you can go and jump off of. There's like bridges and trees you can jump off into the ocean. So it there's a lot to do over here.
Yeah. So so far how have you liked moving out and being in this new place?
I mean, since we've been able to go and do stuff, it's been good.
Yeah.
I mean, outside of that, it's we haven't done anything here. Like everything that's around here is closed. So it's like I've gone to grocery stores and that's it. But there's so much else to do here. Just haven't been able to touch it.
Yeah.
So we'll see in the next month. See if I'll be able to do anything.
Yeah. Yeah, the more I pay attention to how people are reacting to the news from LA extending the quarantine lockdown for another 3 months. Do you know if
Yeah.
that's still going on?
It is, but it's just in different ways. So it's like you can be open. You just have to be open this way.
Okay.
So
So
like
with
you have to have
restrictions
masks.
and strict
People have
guidelines.
to have yeah. Like my buddy went in to try to go get a haircut, and since he didn't have a mask, they said we can't give you a haircut. Not that they didn't want to, but they're not allowed to do it. So
Okay.
like it's things like that. Like it, it's just like there's such small weird rules that people are essentially almost not even open.
Right. Yeah, I mean, it's like I said, I've just been paying attention to how people have been acting.
Uh-huh.
I mean, Peter's Canyon, man. Yesterday, there were so many people there. So
Oh
many
really?
people. No more masks. I think people are tired of this. We're tired. Let us be. I
Well,
think people
yeah.
are just exhausted of being indoors. People you would who seemed like they just started working out, or
To tell you the truth, this is probably the way to find people who think more like you. Right now is probably the best time for that. And that's because right now it's not even it's almost opinion based on what you believe right now. Because you can go to the grocery store and be the only person that's not wearing a mask. But if you go to these outdoor places, like the beach, like going hiking, anything like that, you won't find anyone with a mask on.
yeah,
So
that's
like,
true.
what's like? I don't get it. Like, because you're inside and outside, you think it's necessarily different. I don't know, but
Yeah, well, it's yeah. Um yeah, but the fact that people are out there,
hmm
the fact that they don't care, it just
yeah,
goes to show you how, tired people actually are and how much we want to just go back to normal. And yeah, and it's interesting. I think that once the government allows, things are going to go back and recover at a significantly fast. pace. I
Yeah.
feel like they're gonna just rebound, maybe not to 100% because we still have, 10, 20, maybe 30% people who are still, scared and maybe they think otherwise.
Yep.
Um, but yeah,
Travel
definitely
industry
more
better
than
get ready.
50%.
Yeah. The travel industry for sure better get ready because they're gonna get hit hard.
Yeah. Yeah, it's something that we still don't know. I mean, I've gotten some calls where they're inquiring, but what? Even though you inquire, what does that actually mean? Like, are you
Yeah.
inquiring? Is this a for sure thing? Should we stay open? Because if you're calling me, that means that you're interested. But are you gonna cancel last minute?
Take deposits. I don't know.
Well, I mean, yeah, that's. But you still, even with the deposit, like you still you plan for this giant $20,000 trip, but you maybe deposit $5,000.
Yeah.
All that work you did putting together the itinerary, um, getting the office ready, like for what?
Yep.
For nothing. So there's still a lot of uncertainty.
I just started thinking about this. Disneyland's not gonna open until next year. What happens to Knott's Berry Farm? If they open, they'll be the only well, I don't know, I guess Six Flags. The
Yeah, but
increase in business Six
locally,
Flags
right?
and Knott's will
Maybe
have.
they will be able to rebound because they were having a lot of financial trouble
Yep.
for the past 5, 7 years,
Yeah.
right?
So they may increase, and what? It's coming up to one of their major parts of the year too, the Halloween haunt, right?
Yeah, yeah,
Like
they
Fourth of
do.
July, I
Yeah,
think
they
they
do
do
a
a
lot
big
of
thing.
stuff. Summer, just summer by itself brings a lot of people.
Yeah, I'm curious if that'll flip too, like, or if summertime is this summer is not going to be as summer like because we've
Well,
already
it just
taken our
depends
time
on
off.
the restrictions and the guidelines that the government, you
Well,
know.
well, just imagine it. Everything opens up though. Like no one can take work off now. Like who's going to be
Well,
taking
it's
work
still a
off to go on
holiday.
there?
Technically, it's
Like,
still a holiday, paid holiday.
well, some stuff like 4th of July and things like that, but
Yeah,
like you can't take your extended
like vacation.
vacations that a lot of people will do. Like you get your 4-day weekend, but usually people would take off the other 4 days and make it an 8-day off of work thing.
Or yeah, or
People aren't going
people
to be
take
able to do that
trips
now.
or
Yeah,
yeah,
Peop-
yeah.
it's
It's
good.
definitely going to be different.
Yeah, it's gonna be interesting.
Yeah, and I wonder, are we even going to celebrate 4th of July? Like, there's not going to be any fireworks. Maybe they'll have fireworks. I don't know. But you
That's
have
the
to watch
thing,
them from home.
right?
They're just going to
I'm
live stream
curious.
everything.
Yeah, and they may not even sell fireworks to make it a thing. Like no fireworks, no party. But
Yeah. Man, so look at that. See? This
yeah,
is really going to this is going to have a real economic impact on everything. Fireworks. I mean, if there's no fireworks, that whole industry is effed.
yeah. It's
That's
just
it.
like you probably don't know the holiday coming up, do you?
Um what is it called? I was going to say Labor Day, but I know it's not Labor Day. It's
Yeah,
Memorial
Memorial
Day.
Day.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's a pretty big barbecue day.
It's a huge barbecue day.
It's a
We're
yeah.
barbecuing, man. I don't
Are
know
you?
where we're gonna do it, but we're definitely gonna go barbecue. I'm definitely gonna go get hamburgers and some hot dogs.
It's they come down here, but there's not really like a. I haven't found like a good
Spot.
beach. Yeah, because the beaches aren't like they're not like completely open.
They have
Like
restrictions, right? Like you can go to
yeah,
the beach, but you can't stand still, like in one
yeah. I
area.
don't. You're not. I haven't gone to anywhere that has like the bonfire pits, so I haven't seen if anyone's doing that. But essentially, all they're saying is be active. So if you're in the water swimming or doing some kind of water sport, cool. If all you're doing is sitting there with the sunbathing, go home. That's all
Yeah.
it is. But I mean, they don't really.
Yeah, they also
They
said
can't.
that they'll pluck you out of the water if you
Nah,
just
it's not really happening.
no.
Nah, I mean, unless you're being
And
ridiculous, I
so
guess.
how do you see Huntington Beach? I mean, that's where all your neighbors were protesting, I'm sure.
I actually haven't seen any of that protesting stuff. I
Really?
haven't gone. Yeah,
So you
I
don't
don't.
think it's an actual like a big deal, like what people make
No,
it seem
I
like?
mean, I'm sure it's happening. I
Oh,
just haven't driven by that area.
uh-huh.
Like I live right there, but there's no reason for me to go there unless I'm going to that specific spot. Like there's no I'm not driving by it to get to something else.
Right.
Like it's still a destination spot to me too. Like there's so many other places around here I can go. I
Mm-hmm.
don't need to go to Main Street where all the drunks are, you know?
Yeah.
So, yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
It's pretty
So
it's really nice
so
down here
baby
though.
steps. It's baby steps. The government's taking baby steps to in their eyes in their eyes is to ensure that people are safe.
Yeah.
Um yeah. Although I don't think people most people don't see it that way. You know, people they're tired of being told what to do.
Yeah.
You know,
Too
there
many
you were
too
infringing
much
on my
alpha
rights.
mentality.
You're infringing on my rights. If I want to
Yeah.
be out and get sick, I want to be out and get sick. I should
Yeah.
be able to go out and get sick. But it's it's squirrely. Like you don't really know. It's a lot of gray area. Like yeah, you can go out, but you're asymptomatic and you're infecting other people. You should be held accountable. Like where
Yeah.
it's a strange thing.
It comes down to trust, I guess. Like they don't trust the people who are telling them to stay home is what it is.
Yeah.
So if I don't trust your words saying, "Hey, Greg, you're off camera right now," like I'm gonna be like, "No, don't tell me what to do. I can tell I'm on camera right now." You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Like it's I don't know. It's just people not wanting to listen to others' knowledge of things.
Yeah. And also people we um we just want things now. We don't want to be careful. We don't want to, we don't want to take the necessary precautions, you know. Um
Yeah.
some of us will. We abide by the rules and we do things how we're supposed to. We wear masks, we whatever. We keep 6 feet away from each other. But other people just some people just don't care.
Yeah.
And I think that's part of the problem. That some people don't care. And yeah, like for me, I see, Gilbert. He's the one that got us onto this train for the marathon thing. He's always
Mhm.
saying, "Life is a marathon, guys. Life is a marathon," and it just cracked me up just the way he said it. But the more I think about it, is I realize that it's actually more true than what I actually thought, and it's in everything. Like, dude, I've been so upset at myself for letting go. Like I was looking at some pictures the other day of myself maybe 2 3 years ago. I'm
Yeah.
like 210 pounds, just built, you know, like crazy. You can see like yeah, I could see a developed body that took me like a year and a half to sculpt, and then this thing hit, and we use it as an excuse to just fuck off. And I was just whatever. I didn't even care. Like it wasn't like exercise became non-existent for me. I like totally forgot about it. And so I've been so upset that I let it go. But yeah, so I've now realized, it's like the goal isn't to get jacked. The goal is not to get, you know, up to 210 pounds. It's just to be healthy for the long run, not for summer. Most people, when it comes to the New Year's resolution, it's like, oh, I'm going to hit the gym. I'm going to get in shape for
Mhm.
summer. For summer, it's always for summer, but it's
Yeah.
never to be healthy. To be healthy, live a healthier life in the future, in the long run, so that when you're 50 years old, you're not breaking down.
Yeah.
So yeah, the more I've thought about what Gilbert said, it's true, man. I've it's something that we all should be considering, and in,
You?
not just exercise. It's in everything. Like it may be your career. Like maybe you're not at the place where you want to be right now. Maybe you
Yeah.
feel like you've been in a hole, like I did. All last year, man, I felt like I was in a hole. I felt bad. I felt like I wasn't progressing.
Hmm.
I felt like I had been stuck in mud, in quicksand for far too long, and I didn't know what to do. I couldn't find that branch. And so this year, out of nowhere, this whole coronavirus thing brought an opportunity to me. And now I'm acting on that opportunity, and it's looking like it's going to be a big thing. And
Yeah.
so, why did I even worry last year? Because I didn't get a step further, because maybe I was going up a very, very steep hill. And it's, life is like that sometimes. I felt like I was running up a hill last year, and
Hmm.
I could only take like baby steps. You're building up that lactic acid in the muscles. You remember that. You're like, oh, I have to one more rep, and then you couldn't.
Yeah.
Right, when we're doing squats, you couldn't. Sometimes we couldn't. We would stop, and then your legs are shaking. You couldn't move anymore. And yeah, yesterday that's what it reminded me of. And then while I was running, it reminded me of this whole thing that I'm going through, which is, this is what I felt. It felt like I was a caterpillar, and then I built my cocoon, and then you have to shed, and it takes time. It's not like overnight,
Yeah.
you know. In
Yeah.
fact, now that I think about it, if we go back to the haiku, um, it reminded me of the haiku actually. Let me see if I can find it. Yeah. April's air stirs in willow leaves, a butterfly floats and balances. So that butterfly, that's what it reminded me of right now. That I was, I just realized that is that we're all caterpillars, and it's across the board. It's in everything. It's in your career, in your fitness goals. It's in growing as a person. We have to shed that old skin to be able to have wings and fly.
You know, there's been a lot of butterflies over here actually lately, and it was so interesting because it's the monarch butterflies, those big ones,
Yeah,
and
it's is
and
it what is it called when they go
the
down to
monarch
Mexico?
um, migration.
Yeah, is it their migration period or what?
Oh, I don't know. I remember that what was it? It was last year, right? Where they
Dude,
were just
last year,
everywhere,
all my cars are black. Both my cars are black.
right? And they were
Dude,
just like
yeah, it was
your
butterfly.
car was just destroyed with them.
Yeah.
There was more butterflies in the air than like pollution.
Mm-hmm. That's
Yeah, that
crazy.
was crazy. But
Yeah, but
yeah, no,
that's
these were the big monarch butterflies, and one landed on a leaf like right in front of me, so I was close enough to like just look at it, and it's so interesting how big their bodies actually are and how thin their wings are. It's crazy to see the stuff up close that we just take for granted when we walk by.
yeah, yeah, and again, it's even the monarch butterfly that has to, for some weird reason, they know how to travel back to their homeland, which is Monarca in Mexico. You know,
Uh-huh.
and it's not like they decide, oh, tomorrow I'm just gonna fly over. Yeah, well, they do. They decide tomorrow I'm just gonna fly over there, but it's a journey, and it takes time. And
Yep.
some of them make it, some of them don't. and that's just the reality of it. You know, some get hit. I remember driving down the freeway last year, and I felt bad because you can't. You know, you see a butterfly, you start seeing butterflies on your windshield.
right?
I'm like,
It's
dude,
almost like,
those butterflies are so unlucky.
imagine you were like, you were you were born, you lived for like a couple months, you went into a coma, and you woke up and you got hit by a car. That's like essentially what butterflies are, you know?
Yeah,
That's
and
crazy.
then, but also how we all are, because if you
Yeah.
think about it, this whole coronavirus was a windshield of a car. We got hit, and we don't know how to get off. And there's someone telling us, "Oh, you guys can't fly away yet. You have to stay on the windshield." Right?
I don't know about that.
I mean,
Some
if you
some
think
people
about
never
it,
got on
huh?
never got on the shield.
Well, I mean, you can't go anywhere. You can't,
Yeah.
you know,
Yep.
it's not like you can say, you know what, I'm just gonna get off this windshield of this ride that I don't want to be on.
Mhm.
You know, we have to use those wipers. Yeah, man, it's definitely something I've been thinking about. Just, and you know, also it takes a lot of pressure off of you, because now I don't feel like, I mean, I'm just looking at my life, and I already achieved so much in my eyes, for me and for me alone. I've achieved a lot, and now this is, yeah, I just had to, you know, get in that cocoon and shed the old skin, and hopefully the rest of the year will be a really good journey for me.
Yeah.
Um,
I
yeah.
was
So
listening to this song yesterday. I don't even know what it's called. Just popped up on Spotify, and it was saying this is your year over and over. But like it was like it was pumping up so much. I was like, yeah, this is my year. Let's go.
yeah, man. What's your next step, man? What's your next step in life? What do you? Yeah, where are you at?
Where am I at?
Uh huh.
I'm not sure, but it seems like I'm going to probably find some new type of work. Because all this has kind of changed everything with working in general. It's almost not worth it to do certain things right now.
Yeah.
So
Let me
I'm
ask you
thinking,
this, man.
yeah.
Would this be the perfect time for you to work on your coding? Not to learn, but to actually start practicing.
Well, I mean, every time is yeah,
But especially now that more restaurants are updating their websites for takeout and delivery, I don't think it's gonna go away, man.
yeah.
I think it's something that it's definitely not gonna go away. I think the more this whole
No,
thing
but
progresses into summer, the,
mhm.
you know, places like restaurants are gonna definitely be update wanting to update their website to make it more user friendly so that you can order.
Yeah.
You know?
I think though that the whole to go service concept is very overthought in the sense of everyone thinks that these to goes for restaurants really are that big. Like if most restaurants lost their to go services, they probably wouldn't take that big a hit. All those people would just then have to come in. And
Yeah.
it's
But this
it's
is,
really
yeah, but think
like
about it
yes,
like
there's a
big
lot of
picture, like long term. Long term,
yeah.
I don't think it's going to go away. I think they're going to keep the option there. It's like when okay, so restaurants have evolved, right? At
Yeah.
first, it was you just went to someone's house and they fed you and you paid them money. Then that person said, "Well, I don't want people to keep coming to my house. I'm going to open a separate place." and then
Uh-huh.
other people followed suit. And then it was, oh, I can't run this by myself. I can't cook and cashier at the same time. So now I need to hire a cashier. And then everybody followed suit. And then it was, oh, I need a servers because I need somebody to take orders because I can't do everything myself. So then it's evolved to this system where you have multiple people in like some restaurants have like 20 people working full time.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, so this is just the next thing. It's, oh, we have to adjust, we have to adapt because of the pandemic. Well, let's do to go. We never did to go. Let's do to go now. Let's all, let's put it up on Postmates, on Uber Eats or whatever.
Yeah.
Which, by the way, Postmates, Uber Eats, if you're listening, holla at your boy. Send us the sponsorship contract.
So
um,
I just did a simple calculation really quick.
yeah.
I looked up Uber Eats gross revenue, and it says 3.7 billion in gross revenue, right?
Uh huh.
And I looked up how many restaurants there are in the United States. Okay, so I divided how much money they made by how many restaurants there were,
Okay.
and that's for a year. So that means each restaurant got $5,600 worth of sales
On average,
for the year. Like that's not that
through
like
Uber.
it's not
But
that
you
much
have
when you look at the
to
small
you
picture
have
of it.
to you have to consider that in a lot of states there are some restaurants that do not offer Uber Eats. Uber Eats, I think, is more concentrated in the bigger cities.
Yeah,
Like,
but like that's all I say is that to say that it's not going away is true, but it's not. It didn't take the place of what restaurants were,
no, but it's
and it in
again,
no way is going
of
to
course, but
supplement
again,
any
it's
shape or
not
form.
it's not that it's gonna shift.
Yeah,
It's that it's just another service. And what
yeah,
I'm saying to you is this is the perfect time to maximize and monetize that, you personally, because it's something I feel like it's something that more and more restaurants are going to be doing.
hmm
They're going to say, what if this happens again? What if we close again? They can't take that risk anymore, so that people need to know, hey, we offer delivery, we offer to go, we offer takeout. And so I'm just saying, I think it would be a good idea. And anyone that's listening, it would be a good idea if you're interested in marketing, Robert. If you're interested in launch a new website, right now is the time because more people are on the devices, more people are surfing the interwebs. It's right now. I think it'd be a perfect time to launch anything that's online.
yeah.
You know, um, in fact, I think that maybe we should start our our website. Our yeah, I'm putting together some merch if people are interested in buying.
Okay.
But yeah, man, what do you think about that? What do you think that about the fact that yeah, life is more of a marathon than a sprint?
Yeah, because you gotta. Well, I mean, if you want to, you always want to live as long as you can. So, in that sense, you slow down so you can live through everything.
Yeah, but also like the fact that we have to remove the belief that we can get things immediately. And when I say things, I'm referring to things that are big picture, big reward, big yeah, big things. Not I'm not talking about, you know, oh, I just want to be happy. Well, you can be happy right now. Like, if eating a hamburger makes you happy, well, then there you go. I'm talking
Mhm.
about, you know, being healthy, maybe feeling good, maybe not feeling pain. It takes a long time, as long as you take a step every day, eventually you'll get there. Some days, I've learned in my personal experience, I've learned that some days I can take multiple steps. Some days I can run 6 miles. Other days I don't even want to go outside. And some
Yeah.
days it rains, so you can't go for a run. And that's just part of it. The important
Mm.
thing is that the next day that it's sunny is when you should start, and you should just get back out there and take those steps.
Yeah, I find that actually kind of funny because there's a lot of people who like to run in Washington, and it rains 70% of the time there. So they
Well,
do
why
run
do
in
you
the rain.
think that it has such a high suicide rate? Is
What?
because it's cloudy. And when it's cloudy and it's raining, people don't really go outside. So you not only do you have all these people who are vitamin D deficient, which actually has a lot to do with your mood regulation. Um, yeah, you don't really see the sun all that often. You're inside most days. Like there's less social interaction. It's mostly social media. And from what I've seen, I don't, even though it's funny to send you guys memes sometimes, like, sometimes I open up my phone and I crack up because the things that they send me, you guys send me.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, that makes me happy. But I would much rather talk about that stuff in person. Yeah, like even my doctor's appointments, dude, we were doing, Skype conferencing.
Yeah.
And just this past Monday, I was like, you know what? Like, will you mind if I came by in person? We can take precaution, wear a mask, whatever, be 6 feet away, everything. And he said, no, I mean, yeah, I'm 93 years old and I feel good. All my patients have been coming in person. You're the only one that didn't. And it was because I decided to not go in person because I didn't want to be the reason that he got sick.
Yeah.
So, yeah, so we did it for like 5 weeks, and it wasn't the same thing. There's no connection. There's no yeah, you're missing that human connection, which is another reason why I'm thinking that all this stuff is going to go back to normal. People want to be together. People want to be in groups. You think about sports. Not only do the two teams have groups of people, but you look at the fans. It's two different groups of people that are, they're rooting for their own team. Look at work environments. It's an office space. You have coworkers, groups.
Yeah.
Look at even religious places. You have churches. You go in as a community, schools. Everything we do is in groups. So, yeah, even though I feel okay, first of all, I feel like the next 10, 15 years, we're going to see more of this, more online. We're going to do virtual. We're going to be having virtual conversations with people, but we're not going to be able to touch and feel for a very long time until Neuralink tricks your mind into feeling the touch. I don't really see that happening anytime
It
before then.
it's so funny to hear you say things like that because like to me, none of that matters. Almost like I don't I don't know, I don't feel the same way as other people are where like they're so worried about being near people. Like I get just as much from talking to people online as I do in person myself,
Okay, let me give you this.
or
Why
very
why don't
limited
you
contact.
why don't you live in a rural area? Why do you live in a community?
Why?
Why do you
Because I
why
have
do you
to.
live why do you live in a house in an apartment in
Because
an
I have
apartment
to.
community?
It's the only affordable thing.
That's one reason, but not the sole reason.
I'm pretty
No,
sure if I could live
I'm
by
sure you feel
myself,
safer.
if I could live like out in Santiago Canyon, I totally would.
Yeah, but you didn't. You
Because it's not
chose.
affordable.
Okay, why do you have a child? Why did you want to be with a person? Why are you
Well,
not by
no, like I,
yourself?
I understand that. I'm not saying that I don't like it, but I don't feel like right now. I haven't been in any relationship in over 5 years.
No,
Like I
but you
haven't
have a
like there's no I don't have any like physical contact with anyone in a sexual way or even in like my own personal life. The only time I like hug someone is if they initiate it. Like I don't have that like that drawn feeling like, oh, I need to like I need to go talk to people. I need interaction. Like, yeah, I get it every once in a while, but like it's not that prominent to me as it
yeah.
is to
So
most people.
what about why did you work at a restaurant that involves people? Why didn't you do coal mining or treasure hunting?
Like it goes back to the whole thing. It's not it's not financially there. Like if I could be I've thought about this plenty of times. Like if I could do something where it's just me, I don't have to talk to anyone or do anything. Well, not like not do anything. Obviously, you're going to be working. But like the thing that popped into my head was like an overnight janitor. I was like, just do my work, don't talk to anyone, and I go home.
Yeah, what I'm saying is that even though you're an introvert, when you were 18, you didn't choose to go to Alaska and live a lonesome life. You didn't choose
Yeah.
to go overseas to a place you don't like with people you don't know. You didn't choose to go live in the desert.
Yeah.
You chose
Well,
to
what I'm
stay,
saying,
you know?
yeah, I don't need the physical like aspect of a relationship. Like I can do just fine like this, like talking to you on the computer. Like I
Yeah,
don't
but
I don't know.
wouldn't
I
you
don't have that
agree?
same feeling others have.
Wouldn't you agree that there's a difference?
Or there's some
Like
things
would
you
you
have
rather
to do
just
with other
if
people.
if it were up to you, would you just rather let's say would you rather just have these conversations forever this way?
I I don't know. I don't necessarily think I would mind it.
Well, I'm not saying if you would mind it. I'm saying would you prefer that? Would you prefer that you just don't hang out with people?
Uh See,
Like let's say
no,
it's
but like I'm
Christmas.
not saying that I prefer going out with people. Like I think I get more that feeling like you know how you said you wake up in the morning and you just don't feel like running. It's not
Yeah.
that you don't want to go run or you don't have interest in running, but you just don't feel like doing it. And I think I have enough of that feeling towards like actually seeing people or actually having physical interaction or having someone stand in front of me to talk. Like I don't have that. I think
Yeah.
I
So
wake up
what
with the
so this
more.
is what I'm referring to. I'm not referring to you personally. I'm not referring to you personally like being an introvert or maybe it takes a lot out of you to hang around people. And that's fine. There's a lot of us like that. What I'm saying is we still live in a community. We're still tribal in some ways. I'm sure you have some sort of beliefs who you share with other people. You can identify with other people. Like you used to go watch soccer and you
Uh-huh.
rooted for a team and you got excited and you were yelling at the top of your lungs to
Yeah.
cheer on your team. That's what I'm referring to.
Yeah, but
Like
see,
let's say
like
that you
I,
couldn't do
I
that
think
anymore
I
forever.
think yeah,
You
sure.
know, you
I
wouldn't
I
like
would be
necessarily
perfectly fine.
mind it, but you would prefer to have it as opposed to not have it.
I think it's because I've been able to find that same enjoyment in being distanced from people. I can have that same enjoyment. Like I had a really fun night last night, and all I did was play a video game with 13 people that I don't even know their real names.
And
That
there
I've
you
known
go. And
that
that's
I've known
and
for
that
2
just goes
years.
to show you that even in the virtual world, we want to be with people.
Yeah.
You
Like
know,
these people probably know a lot about me that you don't know only because I talk to them more than I talk to you technically.
yeah,
Not
and it's also
necessarily
a
about
difference in
personal things,
perception.
but
You know,
yeah.
I
And
perceive you
that
differently.
like I understand you still need connections with people, but I don't think the physical connections like I don't think I need to be next to someone as much. Like if I get it like for 2 hours a week, I'd probably be fine.
You know what it is.
Even less.
You know what it is that you get it from your son. You get it when you're around him.
Sure. Sure.
You don't need it from anywhere else because you get it. It's
Sure.
like
Maybe.
I
Maybe
get
I
it
can
from my
see it.
dog.
Yeah.
I get it from my dog. I get it from my wife. I
Yeah.
get it from my family.
Mhm.
I get it from friends. So I
Yeah,
don't
I guess.
necessarily want
Yeah,
to go
that's true.
out, but I would much rather have a connection in person as opposed to a virtual one.
Yeah.
And it just goes to show you that what I'm saying is I feel like things are going to bounce back relatively quickly, and I'm a little optimist in that regard because I feel like people are tribal. We need to be around each other. The hiking is a perfect example. I remember going to that park. You and I would go to that park when nobody was around.
Yeah.
We were literally the only people biking up there. I
Yeah.
mean, you remember that, right?
Mhm.
What was that?
Yeah.
10 years ago?
Yeah,
High
probably.
school? Before high school ended? Like right after high school ended? How many bike trips did we take over there? We
I
were
was
literally
biking
by
there all
ourselves.
every day.
We were literally by ourselves. Yeah, maybe once in a while you bumped into somebody riding a horse,
Yeah.
you know, or you bumped into hikers over the weekend, but you went on a Monday or Tuesday afternoon, nobody would be out there. And nowadays, hundreds of people are out there because it's the
Yeah.
only place they can congregate. It's the only place people are allowed to go.
Oh yeah.
It's like the grocery store. You said it yourself. Well, nobody can go anywhere else, so they're just going to go to the grocery store. There's a lot of people that are just going out to go out. They don't need to go buy groceries. They don't need to go buy shit. They're just out to look at the clothes at Target. They're just out to socialize.
Yeah.
They're out to find a mate. I mean, I can't
Wait.
imagine how
Wait.
single
Wait.
people are doing.
Where are
There's
people at looking for a mate?
dude,
I'm ready.
imagine all these people who are not receiving physical touch.
You
They're
know,
tired of they're tired of sitting on their hands for 20 minutes.
I know, dude. This is the not yet, but in the next month, dude, there's gonna be
Dude,
an
it's gonna
insurgency
be
of
the baby
babies,
boomers
dude.
again, all over
We're gonna have
again.
the
We're
new
gonna
boomers.
COVID-19 is gonna be the year of the baby boomers.
Yep.
You know,
Well, it's got to be a new name though.
the
Can't just call them
TikTokers.
boomers again.
I don't know, but I'm sure there's gonna be a high birth rate next year.
Yeah.
In fact, hospitals. If you guys don't prepare for that, you're gonna have a hard time. You're gonna have people giving. That's gonna be the next thing. You're gonna be giving birth on the street.
Start becoming a doula now.
And you know what? I wonder how hospitals dealt with the baby boomers
I mean,
once the work. Once the what was it? The 19 what in the 1970s when Vietnam ended.
yeah. But like from everything that I've looked at, I mean, childbirth is not like I'm just talking about like a normal childbirth. It's not that intensive. Like, yes, there's pain, and yes, like a lot goes on, but like it's
Hang on,
not
Greg.
like
Let me tell you this. You're not a girl. You're not a woman.
no,
So
no, no, no,
I don't necessarily feel like that
no.
is relatively
I'm
true.
not. I'm not saying there's a difference between having brain surgery and having a baby. Like the baby comes out and does it on its own. Like yes, you push yada yada yada. But what I'm saying is it's not like if a huge natural disaster happens and everyone comes in at once. It's going to be a much bigger deal than if everyone the same amount of people come in who are having babies. Because for the most part, a woman can have a baby without any help. Do you see what I'm saying?
Most women, yeah.
Yeah, well, that's what I'm saying though. Like most women can. Sure, there are things that happen. Like my 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 brother's my son's brother had the umbilical cord wrapped around his neck. So when things happen like that, sure, you have to get involved. The doctors have to know what they're doing. But a lot of births are simple in a sense. Like the baby comes out, you take care of the baby. Like it's not like super brain surgery. People were having babies when they didn't even know how to make a fire.
Yeah, I'm just wondering if like how the hospitals handled the amount of babies.
Yeah.
You know, they weren't prepared for it. So I'm just wondering. Yeah, we have a lot of hospitals now. We're more advanced. It's easier. There's a system to it. What I'm saying is, you know, it could be a potential thing. You know, I'm just
Yeah.
wondering how people did it back in the day. How was it that they gave birth? You know, how many were there like an increase of midwives?
Yeah.
Um, yeah,
Cuz like when you have a baby, most of the time there's only like I think what is it? When we were there was like four actual like doctors who were the ones who would deliver the baby even though there's like 15 people in the room helping.
yeah,
Uh, so I mean, everyone in that room knows how to deliver a baby. Just legally, they're not like allowed to make the final decisions for the
mm-hmm,
hospital. So
mm-hmm.
like, if it came down to it, all those people could just deliver babies. So all the doctor has to do is come and determine like, oh, this is gonna be straightforward. I'm moving on to the next person. You finish up here. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know.
Yeah, I
I'd
don't
have
know.
to look
I
it up,
mean,
but
I don't know. Yeah, why don't you take a look to see how was it that hospitals dealt with the amount of babies being born after the world after the Vietnam War?
yeah, we'd have to talk about that next time though, because there's a lot of information.
Well, I mean, you don't have to read the whole article.
Well, yeah, but I'd have to read a lot. So,
Does it say how many at least how many births there were? What was the spike? The normal from the normal?
no, I mean, there's so much information being given out. There's nothing that specifies the questions that you ask. So, like, there's this says the baby boomer generation started turning 65 years old this January, but I don't know when this article was written, so I can't tell you. That could have been
So
10 years ago.
what about the
Oh, it
question?
says 2011, so that was 9 years ago.
Yeah, but what about the question? Just type in how many births um yeah, what was the birth spike from the baby boomers?
76 million births.
76
Uh,
million births
in
in 1 year?
in the United States
In 1 year?
from 1946 to 1964.
And what was the average before then? 76 million births. Yeah, what was the average?
Um,
I would imagine it would be a significantly Lower.
I don't know. I don't see it anywhere. It's not saying. It just keeps talking about boomers. It just says age range. So,
Here, I'll help you out.
2007, 2017, 3.8. We'll just say pretty much 4 million births between. Oh, sorry. Hold on. Yeah, see all this stuff. You have to research ahead of time because there's too much reading, too much you have to look at. It's not
No, man.
very
Here you
simple.
go. 1930.
That's 1 year.
Yeah, but watch.
You can't compare 1 year to 19 years.
Well, let me finish. Watch. 1930, 2.6 million births. Okay. 1935, 2.3 million births. 1940, 2.5 million births. So into 1945, 2.8 million births. So that's
47 million.
That's like 8 million births in the 10 in 10 15
It's a little more than half the amount of births from the boomer years.
So yeah, so imagine half more births. Like, yeah, I wonder how it was that they, dealt.
Yeah. Now you got to see how many babies are born per day.
Yeah.
Because I mean, it's so interesting to look at things in that aspect. So let's say what it was saying. It was saying like 2.5 million a year.
Was average.
So and how many days in a year?
365.
So that's 6,849 babies per day. 6,489 per day. We're talking United States, so we'll divide that by 50 states. That's 129 babies per state per day. Come on, that number has got to be way off.
Yeah, I feel like there would be more.
There's got to be more because how many hospitals do you think there are on average in a state? You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah, there's a lot.
There's not only like 2 babies being born a day per hospital. You know what I mean?
No, that number's off, and also that was back then. Well, I mean,
Yeah.
it could be right. I don't think there were that many hospitals back then because we didn't have that many people.
But I mean, if you think about it too, a lot of the United States is just like land.
Yeah, there's a lot of concentrated areas where there's a population.
Yeah, but even 129 babies per state.
That sounds.
I think that
sounds ridiculously low.
Yeah. Like when you look at numbers like that, you think like 7 million a year seems like super high, but like when you look at it that way, you're like, wait, that seems super low.
Yeah, that's really low.
It's
so Greg, why don't we get into a little bit of some just current events? I saw that President Trump sent a letter to the WHO organization, basically blaming them for multiple things. Too many for me to recount, but I know for a fact there was, they got some facts wrong at the very beginning. They gave the wrong advice. They suppressed, they didn't cover whatever China was doing, and they were against President Trump's travel ban. So it's interesting. I don't know. I know for a fact he's gonna definitely defund them, but I wonder if. Yeah, I wonder what's gonna happen. Like, I mean, that's really bad, right?
Yeah.
That's dude. You're talking about people. You're talking about you saw an issue and you didn't do anything about it.
Yeah.
It's like, imagine you're going down the freeway and you see or you start. Either you flick the cigarette or you see somebody flick the cigarette and you see a bush catch fire and you watch it and you don't say anything. You're like, oh, this is just gonna destroy half of California. Like whatever, you know. It's
Yeah,
basically what they did.
yeah.
So I don't know if there are gonna be any repercussions. I don't know. Yeah, it's definitely interesting to see all that play out.
Oh yeah, everyone's gonna be arguing with everyone.
Yeah. Apparently,
I
more than 100 countries are on our side when it comes to trying to keep China accountable for what I'm not saying they're to blame, but there's definitely a lot of shady things that happened, you know?
yeah.
So we need some answers.
Yeah. Well, on a lighter note, I'm looking at some world news here. I mean, it's not a lighter note because this still is going to affect people, but Pier 1, the or not Pier 1.
What?
Pier
I'm
Pier
like, what
1,
happened with Gilbert's business?
Pier 1,
Uh huh.
the what is that? Like furniture store, right?
Yeah, it's like imported stuff, right?
Yeah, so there it says Pier 1 to go out of business and close all 540 stores. And I was looking at it, and I'm looking at Reddit World News, and the first comment on there says, "I feel like Pier 1 has been trying to go out of business unsuccessfully for the past 25 years." And that that cracks me up so hard,
It's
because
so true.
it's kind of true. They're so expensive, and people don't really shop there. They're kind of just open.
Yeah. Dude, yeah, I remember going in there seeing like a lamp for $500. I'm like, dude, who the
Yep.
who the hell buys that?
Mhm.
Yeah. Damn, that's crazy. Wasn't Sears and Macy's also considering going bankrupt?
Yeah, I think um what is it? I think Sears started shutting down a lot of their stores, but I think Sears can stay around because they do a lot of like repair work. They've kind of they kind of got a little lucky with that, but
With the cars? They
they
have like
have
a
the
tire
cars, but
center?
no, like repairing like refrigerators and stuff like that. I
Oh,
think
like
they have
appliance repair?
contracts.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
but
also there's people who have bought things under credit, right?
yeah,
So they're
there's this other story. This one was actually really interesting because a lot of people feel that they get cheated from doing the delivery systems like DoorDash and Uber Eats.
why is
Because
that?
what happens is to get on the platform you have to pay, and then on the platform they also take a percentage of whatever people buy. So that means that you have to increase your price to match that, or you just lose money per item you sell. So if I normally sell something in the store for $10, they're charging me $2 to be on the platform and $1 uh, because I sold a $10 item. So
So
they're
now you have to
taking
charge
3 of
15
my
bucks.
10. So now I have to charge 13 instead of 10 on that
Yeah.
platform. So something happened on this guy. He owns a pizza shop where the price difference was wrong. He charged $10 and Uber or DoorDash was charging 8. So he started buying his own pizzas and he was making money.
Wow.
Yeah. So the thing was, man makes money buying his own pizza on DoorDash. It's crazy.
That's
It's nuts.
hilarious.
But I mean, I don't know. He's got to get in trouble if he doesn't pay it back, and then he put himself in a hole because now he has to still pay for all of his pizza, and he has to pay them back.
Yeah, so he thought he was gonna get away with it.
But Scooby Doo came in and got him.
Oh man, that's hilarious.
Yep.
What else is out there
Uh,
on Wednesday, May 20th, 2020, amidst this weird and strange time where we find ourselves?
I don't know. I'm seeing a lot of crazy things like
Did we ever cover the murder hornets coming from Japan?
I actually don't really know anything about that. I've seen these murder hornet things being talked about so often, but I don't know what they're referring to.
Yeah, so apparently there are these giant hornets coming from Japan
Uh-huh.
that somehow got released into the United States.
Hmm.
I don't know how they would travel overseas. I don't know if they. I don't know. They must have come in some sort of fruit or something
Yeah.
through a shipping container. And for apparently two of those things can kill up to 40,000 bees,
Okay.
which is troublesome because we already have a bee problem where we don't have enough bees, right? But I also heard that the bees will basically form a little ball in which
Okay.
they start vibrating at a higher rate, and they basically cook the hornets alive.
Ooh.
And that's how they kill them. But I don't know, but if two can kill 40,000 bees, like how many bees will it take to kill these things? And then there was also some people saying that um what were they, the praying mantis would take care of the problem, but I don't know. It's worrisome, but also, yeah, not a lot of information has been come out, and I don't know. I don't know if it was just
The
like it just
5G
came
will
out on the
kill them.
media, or if it, you know,
We don't have to worry. 5G will kill them.
5G,
Yeah.
dude. It, I don't
There's
know,
so much
man.
out there, man.
Yeah,
Like another like I just thought about this in two different ways. There's a another thing on the world news says a mom who paid $400,000 to get her son into UCLA is sentenced. How important is that education to that mom that thinks that $400,000 is going to make that son make more than that? You know what I'm saying? That investment.
the problem is that it's not about the education; it's the status. They're paying for
Yeah.
status. Like, hey, my child is a little, he's a little. He doesn't care. He's lazy. He's not putting in the work. So I'm just gonna bribe this place to make sure he graduates because it's important for me for other people to see that my kid went to UCLA.
Yeah.
That's what they're paying for. They're not paying for the education. They're bribing the system. They're bribing the people, saying, come on, just pass him." I know he comes in every day. He's high as fuck. He's talking. He's not turning in his
Maybe.
he's not turning in his papers. He's selling OxyContin on the side. He's selling Molly on the side. It's okay. Just let it slide. That's what she's doing. So those $400,000. I mean, if that's the price you want to pay for status, you think status is gonna fix your life? Yeah, that fuck it. Those $400,000, somebody has to pay for them. They're gonna go back into the economy. It's more for us to take, Greg.
Yeah.
But yeah, she's gonna get in trouble, man, and she should.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh, I doubt it. But
I mean,
she prob-
maybe she's gonna pay $1 million, not to not get in trouble.
uh,
But I mean, it's funny, man. People do that all the time.
yep.
Status, dude. It's status. It's really interesting, man. So, is there anything else?
Nothing that's popping out. The
No,
rest is kind of just
just average news.
yeah, or just stuff we already talked about, kind of thing.
Yeah. Um. Yeah. So
So
let's
I'm ready to
move.
hit the boat.
Yeah, man. Let's move on to the common sense, not so common, so we can close this out.
Already.
Yeah, I've been thinking about this. It's been the main theme for the today's podcast. It's that life is a marathon. We have to take baby steps. And I realized this yesterday, man. Even if you can't run for 5 minutes straight, Slow down.
Uh,
Take it easy. Take baby steps. One step is better than standing still, and it's a step closer to the finish line. You know? So
Yep.
that's today's common sense not so common.
Perfect.
Again, if you guys are listening to this, comment, subscribe. If you're a sponsor, holla at your boy at Thought Process Podcast at Gmail. Yeah. Um,
You have us on other platforms now, right?
yeah, so we are starting to put and upload all the episodes onto Spotify, Stitcher, um, every platform where podcasts are heard. However, we're still pending confirmation. Our last episode is pending review. It's in review. As soon as it's done, we'll post something on social media. So you can follow us on Twitter, podcast TTP, or Instagram at Thought Process Podcast to find information when it's available, and so on and so forth. Again, we're going to be working on some merch in the following month. Um, it's something that I've been putting a lot of thought into. It's going to be different. It's something like you've never seen before. So if you guys want to support us, we'll also post that on the our social media. Um, and then last but not least, um, yeah, I'm thinking that I'm gonna try to find a way for us to live stream the marathon so that you guys can join us. And maybe on that day we'll post something so that if you guys are interested, you guys don't necessarily need to come and run it with us. Maybe you don't live in Orange County. But it would be cool if we can just get everyone involved, everyone who's subscribed, just run your own marathon. We'll post the dates on social media if you are following us so that you guys know exactly what date and time. And then I don't know if we'll be able to be, I don't know how I'm going to feel that day. So I don't know if a podcast would be the right idea that day or maybe the next day just to cover the marathon. But yeah, but I hopefully you guys can one way or another join us, even if it's virtual, you know. Yeah. Anyway, let's close out this episode. Thanks again for coming by and listening to us rant and talk shit on this podcast. If you guys like it, we're gonna continue doing it. Don't forget to subscribe, hit the bell, leave a comment, and with that, we'll talk to you guys later. So to close this out, here's a little excerpt from Heart of Buddha that goes like this: In separateness lies the world's great suffering. In unity lies the world's true strength. And it just goes to show you, and it just reiterates the fact that people are tribal. We want to be in groups, and it's okay. Even if you're an introvert, maybe you're in a reading club, a book club or something. Maybe you like a hobby and you are taking painting classes. Whatever it is that you do, it's likely that you are with other people. And yeah, I think it's something we should be grateful for. It's something that we all miss. And I personally can't wait to start just getting out there, and people watch. It's one of my favorite pastimes. I have a lot of fun doing that. So with that, we'll close out today's episode. Make sure to join us next week. Um, yeah, we'll talk to you later. Thanks again, Greg.
Thank
I'll
you.
talk to you soon, man.
All right.